Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? So I'm starting somewhat of a vlog or journal-y type thing, documenting some of these conversations that I'm having with myself or with other people or whatnot, and just I'm gearing up and getting ready for it, and I just needed to post. I just need to start posting stuff. I've been kind of procrastinating. We're in March right now, and I was supposed to be doing this in the beginning of the year, but no, we can't be hard on ourselves. We just gotta just move with whatever the frequency and whatever we want to do. So I'm here. This is like the first of many. I just had interesting conversation with a friend, and we were talking, and the conversation was interesting because we were talking about kind of dating, and this is not a dating or advice or anything. I think the market is already over flooded with all of that, but I'm single, and we was having a conversation about certain type of women or certain types of men she was into or whatever, and we were just having that conversation, and I said I wasn't really into women that had belly beads and all that type of stuff. That just wasn't my vibe. And she kind of paused because she was saying she was wearing them right there as I was talking to her. And she was like, "What do you mean you wouldn't date somebody with that or whatever, whatnot?" And I was just kind of like, I wouldn't date somebody with that type of stuff or messing with sage and all of that and doing all these things because, man, it's just, we're in a time right now where everybody is claiming to be spiritual. It's like if you walk around in most conversations, like you can walk around in the street right now and just, converse with certain people, and they would do the same thing. They would talk about how they're spiritual. And then when you go even deeper in a conversation, it's like, okay, what does that consist of? And it's not, and another thing, it's not none of my business. I think everybody's spiritual walk is private and personal, but I think also there is fruits to what it is you stand on and what you are. And what we faded from that conversation and going into just talking about spirituality. And I feel like there's a lot of people that's walking around claiming to be spiritual, but they're not doing nothing but I think they're just doing self-care, my personal opinion. And what I mean by that they're just doing self-care, that they are just doing things on the exterior and not understanding the real fight and battle in the interior as far as what it is really on a spiritual front. Like when it consists of prayer and fasting and all these things, and really understanding what we put into our bodies and understand what it is, the standards and principles that we need to follow by. For me personally, all my principles and standards glean more into the Bible. And the Bible has an answer for everything that we can go through as far as in our spiritual walk, financial walk, all these things. But it's just the interpreter and the person, the people, we are reading this in a wrong context in a lot of ways, because we're allowing people that doesn't really have the deep understanding of what it means to tell us what it is, as opposed to us going into our own study and we researching ourselves. And I think as we evolve and as we educate ourselves, more truth and more understanding comes out of that in our own personal walk. But I feel like we follow these trends and styles and we follow these things, and it puts us in a place that we don't know how to get out of, or we don't even know where we're going. We don't even know whether we coming and going, because we just following what is popular and what we see on TikTok or what we see on Instagram or whatnot. And it's vitally important that we have a foundation, that you understand what it is that you believe in and what you know, and do extensive research in all these things that we are claiming to be, and what we claiming to stand on, and the principles that you're claiming to be. You got to stand on something. And for me, I stand on God. I stand on my Lord, Savior, Jesus Christ. I stand on those principles. I stand on it. I remember, and also I'm a pastor's kid. I was raised in the church my whole life. And there was a season where I ran away from it because I didn't get the true understanding of it, because everybody that was pretty much talking about it, I knew this when I was a kid. I observed this. It was like they didn't know really what they were talking about, because the more questions I asked, the more they would get more angry or get more uncomfortable. And I was observing that as a kid, and I was like, and I realized most of these people don't really know what they're doing. I think it's very performative. I think Sunday everybody gets excited and everybody do the same thing. They go to church and then they scream, cry, holler, and praise. And there's no judgment. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's my personal walk and what I was experiencing. But after Sunday and after the church doors close and once they go back home, nothing is changing. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody is evolving and improving in their life in regards to like growing. And I feel like now we're in a place in time where we have to understand, that's why we have to understand even those that go to church still falls in that same thing of spiritual and just lining themselves with and subscribing to things that they really don't understand or don't really know. And that's dangerous, because you could be like leading someone down a path they didn't ask for or didn't even need to go, because of your negligence and not understanding what the word or what it really means to be, right, in its full entirety, right? Hopefully that makes any sense, but we just got to be more vigilant in our understanding and knowing that everything that glitters is not gold. And then really question everything. Nothing is done by accident. And that's one of the things that I've always understood. Nothing's done by accident. Like all these things that's trendy, all these things that's popular, even the songs, even the fashion statements, all these things are done for a reason. And a lot of people perish for the lack of understanding and knowledge. That's in the Bible, because sometimes I have a conversation with people, they are viewing themselves like they can handle entertainment. They can handle this. It's just, I know it's entertainment. I just keep the entertainment box. I keep going. Just like horror movies. A lot of people love horror. Hey, that's what you do. No judgment once again. But me personally, excuse me. Me personally, I don't understand it, because I'm like, why would you purposely put yourself in the emotion of fear? That don't make sense at all. Like, why would you want to be in that place of fear or follow that as entertainment? There is things that are happening more deeper than what you understand, even though you don't feel like you are feeling it or it's not impacting you just off the back. And that's how a lot of people judge things. They think, well, nothing happened to me. I'm good. I'm just straight and everything like that. It doesn't work like that, because you're not taking account and you're not taking inventory of like your whole disposition and how you stance, who you are as a person. You're not taking full inventory of that. Like, why you don't even understand why you're afraid to take these steps or leap to these opportunities and different things, because psychologically you have been kept. You have already rewired and programmed yourself thinking that this entertainment is just entertainment, but it's doing things psychologically and doing things in your spirit that's not allowing you to move forward and really trust yourself, or really have high self-esteem with yourself, and really believe in yourself, and really. And that's the difference with certain people. Like certain things, some people understand it and stay away from it. Just like some people think they're not affected by alcohol. And they think it's a problem with me when I say I don't drink, and they looking at me like I'm the one that got an issue. And they be like, yo, so what's going on with you? What's wrong? And it's like crazy. It's like we've been so programmed to think that this drinking is just a norm. But if you watch every show, if you watch every everything that comes to social, like socializing, there's alcohol involved. And that's just what it is. And so people just feel like that's just how the norm and that's how it's supposed to be, when it's not. It's destroying you. It's dehydrating you. Your body, if you only knew how much your body is getting destroyed from that. And I'm not trying to preach down on everything. The whole topic of all of this is basically question everything. Question why you like certain things. Question why you like, all the way down to why you like eating meat, to why you like sleeping on a certain type of bed, why you like wearing certain type of fabrics. You gotta question everything. Don't just fall for it because you feel like that's just what it is. And it never makes sense to me. And sometimes when I have these type of conversations with certain people, they think they gotta be high to have these type of conversations because they're not used to thinking deeply about things and observing and looking at things for what it is. Like I said, I'm not judging, but a lot of times what's someone else is saying ain't someone else. Someone else can have their own personal sins. And I believe that. I think because we're different individuals, there are certain things that we can't do individually. We have our own sins that we just can't do because we know once we do it. And that's a deeper layer of understanding yourself. Like certain things, and I know all things, a lot of people use that all things in moderation, but there's certain things that we just cannot do. One thing I just cannot do, I can't walk in I don't do strip clubs. I would not do that. One thing I just can't do, probably for a season or whatever, I got to watch my sugar intake. You know what I mean? As you get older, there's just things that starts to happen and you got to realize okay, I can't eat all this sodium. I can't do all these things. These are the things that we can't do. I can't listen to this type of music because I know what it's doing to me, because I'm observing and I'm aware of what it's doing to me mentally and what it's doing to me spiritually. And I'm wondering why there are times where I feel down and I feel this because I'm eating this type of food, or I'm feeding my mind and my eyes, all these things that are just not good for us. And as we go and we think deeper, and as we move and we go forward, all these things start to make sense. And then that's when we understand these patterns, to where these patterns starts to line up to where we're moving straight and we're flying straight. We're not going crazy and just doing any and everything. You start to prioritize yourself and you start to come to yourself. Like, man, I was under something. When I was eating all that sugar, when I was drinking all the alcohol, I was a completely different type of person. When I was just, smashing everything or doing whatever, I was becoming something that just wasn't me. And the things that you used to say no to, and the things that you used to be like, nah, that ain't, I would never do this. And you have to wonder, why now, at a certain point, you did start doing it. And when back then you said you would never do that type of thing, you got to question these things. Because and then you got to question, what are you feeding? And the more you feed it, the more you feed it, the more you feed it, the more it grows. And then the appetite comes, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It goes from this thing, and then it jumps to this thing, and it just increases because our flesh just wants, it just wants what it wants. And it pretty much wants to kill you. That's all it wants to do. And so that's why our spirit got to be higher than what we feel and what we feel that we need. And that's why emotionally we have to be in tune. We got to be in tune in all facets of our life. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to keep this short. So basically in this whole thing, man, question everything. Bottom line, stay true to yourself. If you like it, you love it, do it. If it ain't harming nobody else, if it ain't harming yourself, it ain't doing, if it's leading and it's good habits and different things that you feel that you like because nobody else around you don't like it, then this is not for you. And that's another topic I can have about friendships and all types of things. But I'm gonna try to keep it simple as possible and keep it right here. But that's just the going message: is question everything, and just make sure you don't subscribe to everything. Because if you don't have if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. And that is so true. And that's what society wants us to be, in that space of just free falling and just falling for everything. Oh, this is the style now. This is the trend now. Oh, this is the thing. We got to do it. And it's crazy. Growing up, you hear that saying, if everybody else jump off the bridge, would you do it? And the answer is yes, for most people, because they're doing it now. So stay up, stay alert, stay awake, and pay attention. Peace.